All right. Hey friends, it is Steven, and we are here for a pop-up live because we normally don't do a live show. Normally we just do our pre-recorded video, but in celebration of the upcoming Southeast Reptile Expo, we wanted to get on with Bob and really dive into quite a few different things because Bob's been really busy recently. So, one of them is that we recently went to Costa Rica with Bob, Mary, and Ryan, and we're going to be releasing a reptile documentary on Wednesday. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be diving all into the upcoming Southeast Reptile Expo show. And as part of that, we're also going to get into a little bit of the drama and controversy that's going on kind of behind the scenes regarding the Southeast Reptile Expo. And lastly, we're going to be talking about beef in the reptile hobby. Specifically, what do we all think people should do if they are in a situation where they're in conflict with somebody else in the reptile world? So we hope you guys enjoyed, but we are not going to be taking a huge amount of time. So I don't have the chat to be able to pull up because we're trying this out with OBS. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Bob, and I have one question to kick us off. All right, before we actually get into all the topics of this, everybody is aware, or at least all the people in the reptile hobby, the breeding side of it, are aware that Courtney is known for bullying you, Bob. Bob, you are known for roasting Courtney on any chance that you get, whether it is her five head, whether it is her identification of snake species, all of these different things. How exactly did this start?
It's so strange because I'm like looking at the screen, but I'm not seeing myself like on there.
Oh no.
Right?
Oh no.
Is it weird?
Oh no, but I can see it on my phone. I have my phone
okay,
running
okay.
so I can read the comments. Yeah. So I think it just started organically because Courtney is a mean person. And so I kind of just feed into that, like when people are nice to me, I'm so nice to them. So in return, we just have like this back and forth banter. And I thought it went really well in Costa Rica. I didn't think it was too bad. And then last week when you guys were over, someone was mentioning that. I'm like, damn, you roast the hell out of Courtney. And I'm like, do I really? And apparently I do.
Yeah, it's because I whine about it. No, I just think we do have kind of similar styles of humor, and sometimes people will be like, "Oh, haha, that was funny," or "Hey, I didn't like that." But not a lot of people return fire. So I think that's.
I am 99% positive that it started the very first time we were both over at your house. And we were there buying the Super Banana Sunset. It's like height of COVID.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Because it was like, all right, so we're coming in, chat. Chat, you got to understand this.
I don't know if Bob remembers this. So I had a baby 5 days previously. Steven dragged me and a 5-day-old infant to Atlanta. No stops because we were going to be 5 minutes late. And Steven was so, flustered about the fact that we were going to be 5 minutes late. And you were talking about how bad you wanted a rhino. You were like, oh, I've been wanting a rhino. If you know anyone, let me know. And I was like, oh shit, I've been looking for somebody who needed a rhino. And you said oh
you
wow,
lit
really?
up. You were like, no way.
And I said, no, you weirdo, of course not. And then you were like, yeah, I'm gonna 3D print it some armor. And I said, Bob, you're gonna shell out for a rhino and then cheap out on the armor? And Steven says that's what it.
Yeah, that's when you actually before that I was like, oh, this is Bob Vu. We can't offend Bob Vu.
Before then it was Mr. Bob.
Yeah, Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob is how I referred to him. And then it was at that point where Bob was like, oh, okay, Courtney can give some shit, so I'm down for this. I'm also pretty sure as soon as you walked in, because we were already there because Chris was at your house, you looked down, you see 5-day-old Ellie Pinelli in her little car seat, and you're like, why did you bring that?
It's a 5-day-old baby. Yeah. You're gonna go into a room with so much snake stuff.
I didn't want to be there either. No offense.
Yeah.
Also, again, chat, we're trying out OBS rather than doing StreamYard because we are cheap and I didn't want to spend $40 for one single live stream to get a StreamYard subscription. But we got a super chat and it's Keith of Creative Genetics. So huge shout out, Keith. Again, I can't bring it up on here right now because I don't know how because we're brand new to OBS. So, but thank you. Thank you.
I think the image looks great. I can look down on my phone and I can see it and it looks good. Mm-hmm. the story continues in Daytona.
Oh yeah.
So this was the first Daytona that I don't know if it's the first Daytona you guys went to, but you guys come to the table, we're talking snakes, all good. And then that night we all go out to dinner at Coeur d'Along's like infamous group dinner. And I run over to give Courtney a hug and I said, "Hey guys." And she gave me the like, "Why are you touching me?" look. And I was like, she's just not one of these huggy people. It's cool.
To be fair,
So I didn't think much of it. And then the very next night, I saw you guys at the bar. So I went over and I said, "Let me buy you guys a drink." And then she gave me like the dirtiest look. And I was like, "I'm not a swinger, I promise." Like, this is not one of those.
We're not convinced
And,
yet.
Yeah.
it was really crowded, guys. Didn't have anything to do with Bob.
That was the night that
Anybody's allowed to buy me a drink at any time. I don't want Bob deterring anyone from buying us drinks.
That was the night, I think, that you and Josh and everybody ended up going out to Waffle House, and we just thought you guys went to Waffle House for breakfast and all that stuff. So the next day at the show, we're going around and be like, "Oh, how was Waffle House?" And everybody's just laughing, and they're like, "Ha ha ha, that's a good one, Waffle House." And we're like, What's wrong
What's
with
wrong
Waffle?
with that?
We saw like a post of like somebody just going out to a breakfast place, but it was a different kind of Waffle House chat. That's
Different kind of waffles.
Say
Yeah.
it like that.
Hey, Daniel's in here with a super chat.
I was about to say, I don't want to spend too much time, but I see a lot of familiar faces. I see Kane, I see Stacy, I see Chris.
I see Jen. Again, we don't know how to bring up the stuff on
Angels.
here.
Did I say Stacy?
Are you guys gonna go through the entire chats and then
No,
20
I was
minutes
just gonna
of
say the names that I
ads?
saw.
Oh, okay, just wondering.
No, I was just gonna say thanks, guys, for coming because they're my friends. Adam's here. I haven't seen Adam in a long time.
Yeah. And again, Daniel coming in
not-
hot with the super chat, but again, we can't look at it. I'm sorry, so I don't know what it says.
It says, "Hey, what is this?"
Okay, all right, neat. But, all right, with this, actual show topics now. Unless you guys have specific stories that you want to go about.
No, it's Daniel sleeping is what he's super chatted. Daniel, all right, let's get into it for Daniel.
All right, let's get into it. So first topic we got is Costa Rica. So we are going to be releasing the latest kind of reptile documentary that we do on Wednesday. And it's titled Vitara, which is the name of the car that we were
Suzuki.
driving around in Costa Rica, the model of it. So with this, I don't want to get super deep into it because I want everybody to go watch the documentary when it comes up. But both of you guys have seen it. What was your favorite thing from the documentary that you're excited for people to see?
Probably us just storytelling about your moment of like where we thought you died.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I think that's pretty good. And overall, I'll say like even like with the footage of the animals we caught and all that, and it was just like for me having you guys like herping the first time like ever herping, and for it to be in Costa Rica, it's like super cool. Like my first time herping was in my backyard, in South Georgia. So it's like for you guys' first herping experience to be in Costa Rica and we're on this speedboat looking for mangrove boas on, the side of the banks and seeing crocodiles and stuff like that was just really cool.
So what I'm most excited for is we had a guide that came with us and took us on these expeditions. And that guide was a little eccentric in his driving, and y'all kind of detail that in the movie. What I'm so excited for is that y'all kind of roast him pretty good in that video. And he commented, "I can't wait to watch this on Bob's post." So I can't wait to see him see the movie.
That is good. That was it's a fun time, chat. You guys should definitely watch it. Not just being biased on it. We almost died. We literally almost died. It was a great time.
I didn't. I was fine.
Yeah, Courtney was fine.
I was microwaving hot dogs back at the...
Diving in a little bit more on what you said, Bob. So you really enjoyed like having us come out there and going herping for the first time. So just because you do so much herping, like expeditions, trips, things with lots of different people, how do you feel the experience of going herping fits into everybody who's, I'm not going to say just, I don't mean it to be a value statement, but like just a reptile breeder or just a keeper, but they don't go out. Do you think that herping is a really important part to like fully appreciate the reptile hobby?
I feel like herping for me is, for me personally, is Sometimes I'll joke about it and say the only reason I breed ball pythons so I can fund herping trips. Um, it, it, to go out there and see the animals that we see at every single show in a deli cup, to see this animal in the wild and study it and see why is this frog neon green and black, or orange or whatever. And then when you go out there and someone's pointing at this frog and you can't see it, right? You're like, what frog? And then you realize, oh, it's neon green and black and actually camouflages perfectly with this type of environment. That's why it looks the way it does. And that's just super cool. Seeing these animals out in the wild, comparison to a deli cup is just amazing. And I think it's a big part of our industry. If you get a chance to go out there and appreciate it and have a little adventure, the whole reason in my opinion, that I even got into reptiles. Again, I've always been fascinated, but watching Steve Irwin do the dumb shit he did and go out there and tackle, all this stuff and just go out there and have fun. And you can actually watch Steve on his show, and it shows that he's actually having fun. He's not doing this show just for money or fame or anything like that. He's out there having fun, and that's what we do is we go out there. Again, I don't post any of this stuff. We don't make me and my herping guys, my group, we don't make YouTube videos or TikTok content or anything like that. We post it in a Facebook story and it's gone the next day, just
We're
for
cloud
fun.
chasers, so.
Yeah, we're not cloud chasers, unfortunately. So we're just like we post it and it's gone, and it was just a chance to go out there and have fun. And I feel like if you're in the reptile industry, at least do yourself that favor and go out and experience it. And again, man, I'll tell you now, it's addicting, man. You flip a piece of plywood or a rock or something, and you find like that species that you've been looking for a week. Me and Matt Bowers went the other day and we flipped, golly, it's got to be 1,000 rocks. And we finally found the species we were there to find, which is a scarlet king. And it's a very common species. Again, that was the target species for the week, And I'll tell you right now, I would probably lose my mind. I would probably be pretty excited of finding an eastern hognose or a western hognose, any hognose. I've never found a hognose in the wild. And again, I go to shows all the time. I see thousands of hognose every month at shows. And yeah, I've never found one, So that's like these target species. And the first time you flip one or find one or, cruise up to one, it's, the adrenaline and it's all there. So I think everyone in the industry should at least go experience it at some point.
Yeah. And I think with Costa Rica, for us, like the reptiles were really cool, but it was just any animal that we didn't see at home was amazing to me. And things that were exotic to us, obviously not exotic to them, things like the monkeys and the toucans and all of those types of things that are kind of like raccoons there. You see them all the time, squirrels, just everywhere. You literally saw them every day, and that was a really cool experience to me, even if it was mundane for someone else.
Yeah, it was a amazing time, and it definitely makes me want to do other trips like that in the future. And again, it's just an amazing experience. I feel like that it made me more interested in different species, and it's not that I don't like other reptile species, but we have red-eyed crocodile skinks, Brazilian rainbow boa, and then the ball pythons. But by going out there and doing it, like the experience with the frogs and things like that, it's like, man, these are really, really cool animals. And now there is like a tie, so that's something that we want to pick up at the Southeast Reptile Expo this upcoming week. I don't know if there are any poison frog or poison dart frog.
Probably not. They're so
rare, so elusive.
The Southeast Reptile Expo, is it pretty diverse in species?
It's kind of a small show.
I see that in so many of our ads.
Okay, and transition. No, we've actually got 2 tanks. We've got them set up as VIVs that they've just been kind of maturing, waiting for the Atlanta show. So we're going to pick up 2 or 3.
Have you guys decided on what species?
We want the
anything?
Costa Ricans.
Yeah, we want the
like
black
that?
and greens, and then just because it's
of the
what we did. Yeah,
sentimentality.
it's the connection to it. So, with that, before we jump over to Southeast Reptile Expo, so we are clout chasers, and we did post the video of us being there at the waterfall with the black and green Costa Rican dart frog. And it was the first video we've ever had that broke 1 million views, and I think right now it's like 10 million views on Instagram.
Yeah.
How for us, we're not even in the video, so we're just kind of back there. But there's been a couple comments on there where they're like, rah, 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 rah. How has it been for you? Has anybody talked to you about it? What do you think?
Yeah, so this is not my first rodeo on that stuff. I'm just kind of a big deal. So, no, so your environmental, your Humane Society people, your purists, your, all these conservationists, they're going to be a little uptight on handling of pretty much any species in the wild. But you have to take something into consideration now. That video reached 10 million people. And we were able to comment and educate people that when you're handling an amphibian in the wild, put on gloves because your oils on your skin.
One glove.
At least
that
gloves.
was like the number one comment was that you were too cheap to put on a second glove.
To be fair, our guide, phenomenal guide, gave me one glove, and then proceeds to tell me the last time he handled, a dark poison frog, that he passed out from the fumes while having gloves on, but we were able to educate the public in, hey, if you're handling amphibians in almost any environment, put gloves on because your oils, your sunscreen, your bug spray, they absorb everything through their skins. And again, the videos showing people go out there and have fun. There's freaking cool animals all over the place. The U.S. has, Tennessee has the highest biodiversity of salamanders in the world. So I drive to Tennessee all the time just to do that, to go look and see salamanders in these streams. And so what if there's 100 people who are butthurt about us holding a frog in the wild, and they're like, did you know that's illegal in Costa Rica? And I'm like, okay.
I found that out afterwards.
We did find that out afterwards.
And to be fair, how many dead animals that we see on the side of the road ran over? And you're talking about us picking up one frog, taking a picture, and putting it right back into. It's not like we're like digging out a giant nest to find this frog and destroying its environment to find one frog. We saw it hopping, we picked it up, we took a picture, we put, and there you go, it's back on its way. And it's like you're thinking, how many thousands of animals perish a day crossing the road. Or getting picked off. It's just like, and they're gonna get butthurt over someone taking a picture of one. And but the video did its job. It reached 10 million people. It educate people on how to handle, it don't go out there and just raw dog it and grab poison frogs with your bare hands.
There was a lot of people in the comments telling you that you could have.
Yeah.
Right. How many people said they're not even poisonous? And I'm like, they're not in captivity because all these people been to shows and have touched them before. In captivity, these frogs are perfectly harmless because they eat fruit flies. But in the wild, because of the fire ants that they eat is how they develop the poison on their backs and on their skin, and without the food source, they don't develop to become poison frogs. They are just regular dart frogs in captivity. So yeah, educating people on that, and again, that video going viral, whatever, it's a good reminder. So I had a video on TikTok that went big, and it was about a bird that we pulled out of Florida, and people are super butthurt about it, like, oh my God, you're hurting that snake, and all this stuff, and we're like, it doesn't. First of all, it doesn't belong here. And then second of all, how do you want us to handle an 18-foot Burmese python? You're gonna grab it by the head, or it's gonna grab you. It's one or the other, So yeah, people are gonna be hurt. And again, if only 100 people got mad out of 10 million people that saw it, I'm okay. We should be okay with that.
Yep.
I think the most common comments, and just to educate people here, the most common comments were, it's only poison if you eat it, which is not true. And they're like, poison has to be ingested. Poison ivy. There, we're done. All right. That's my argument for that. So that was a big one. The other was, why are you too cheap to put on 2 gloves? The other one was, these are only toxic in the wild. And it's like, what do you think this waterfall
We were
is?
in a vivarium.
Yeah, we're inside a fish tank. Yeah.
And then, but anyway.
Other one, real quick from the chat. Again, I am so sorry because I don't know how to bring you up, but we've had several other super chats. Thank you guys so much.
Kane, Daniel again, and Creative.
And Jen.
Jen and Jen.
Real quick, Daniel's, our Bob is an awesome Bob. Love it. Gonna be the next, banger, right there. We gotta get a whole song made. AI it. And then Jen saying that her first herping trip was in May in Minnesota, which I wouldn't have thought of Minnesota as a place to go herping, but with Bob Bledsoe.
Minnesota.
Yeah, and Dave Kaufman. So that's a pretty freaking cool
Stacked.
trip. Like, yeah, that's an awesome
So
trip.
the
Way rather
northern
go
states
with them.
where I'm just like, it's too cold, there's nothing there. Matt Bowers went to Missouri and herped with Dave Levinson. They found 150 snakes in 3 days.
That's why.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
No,
I
that's-
mean, some of these, I think I'm going to do Kansas next year. And I might even try to do Washington State. Someone told me to come to Washington. There's rubber bows there and mountain kings. So I might end up going up there just for those target species.
No, that's awesome. So Daniel is also in the chat roasting us because we're still talking about Costa Rica, saying that there's a whole documentary coming out, and then we can get there, which is true. So we're going to move on from Costa Rica right now, and we're going to jump over to the Southeast Reptile Expo. So real quick, would you want to provide overview of what's coming up this weekend? Times, stuff like that, cool people that are going to be there, anybody who isn't familiar with Southeast Reptile Expo.
So the Southeast Reptile Expo is, I know we advertise it as Atlanta because it's Atlanta adjacent, but it's going to be in Duluth, Georgia next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the 9th and 10th. And it's going to be from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. both days. We don't do a VIP. We don't do any of that. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's going to be 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We don't do a VIP specifically because, in my opinion, as a vendor, I know that the only VIP that's worthwhile in our industry currently, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, I could be wrong, would be either Tinley Park or the California Super Show. The two shows that are worth VIP.
Yep. So with that, no VIP on Friday, but vendors are going to be setting up. Is there anything going on after the show on Friday, or is it just kind of like free for all? People are going to be at the hotel, stuff like that.
So, well, God, Lee, Daniel told me to scoot back. He told me my face is too close to the camera, and
I
he
just
can't
made
see
him a
the shirt.
moderator,
No.
just in case. I don't know if
He can bring up comments.
I don't know
know
if that makes it so that he can bring up comments, but Daniel, get to work. Figure it out.
Yeah. No. So
Send your password.
we are having. I don't want to say we're lucky, but it's 70 degrees outside right now.
Oh my
in
God.
August.
It was so cold. Not cold, but like
Yeah,
it cooled off
pleasant.
so much today.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
pleasant
kids
out
play
today.
outside.
We got outside and it's nice. And next weekend it's actually only 84, 85 degrees. During the day, which is like phenomenal because last week it was 96 degrees out during the day. So what's going to happen is I think what's going to happen is Friday after setup, there's a hotel attached to our venue. It's the Westin. And on the 9th floor, there is a outside bar and like a fire pit. And I think a lot of vendors are going to congregate around there. Remember, they have 130 something, almost 140 vendors. So I think everywhere you go around there, it's just going to be like little clusters of breeders. There's going to be chit-chatting and stuff. I don't set up anything specifically for the vendors. Like, we're not going to go out bowling or pickleball or I don't know, any of those type things. Because I feel like a lot of those type of events, someone's going to feel left out, right? It's like, oh, let's say I put together a go-kart racing thing for vendors. What about the people that don't go-kart or, not physically able to go-kart or bowl or pickleball or whatever it is? So I kind of just let everyone free for all and go drink and have a good time. But Atlanta overall, man, like I had a vendor ask me earlier, what is there for them to do with their family after setup? He's going to come set up 2 o'clock and they're going to bounce. And I told him, you got to check out the aquarium. The aquarium is 20 minutes away. Drive downtown, hit the aquarium, hit the Coke factory. It's right next door. And that's why I feel like Atlanta deserves a major show because there's so much there. Even our zoo is better than most zoos, in my opinion. We have a phenomenal reptile areas that they do. The reptiles all indoors and it's really nice. They just added, I think they added blue tree monitors or something recently. Really cool. So in Atlanta, I think there's going to be so much to do. And then that night, vendors. The venue actually emailed us and said like how supportive our vendors are of their bars and all the food. I mean, Starbucks sold out last show. Starbucks sold out and they ran out of everything on Saturday afternoon. And all their restaurants are getting sold out. There wasn't any seating left for the restaurants. Yeah, man, vendors get down. So the bars, I think, are going to be packed.
Yep, yep. I am so freaking excited for it. I missed the very first Southeast Reptile Expo because I was up in Canada for the CRBE. Courtney was there. So you were at the first one, you were at the second one. Is this the third one now?
This will be the
Yes.
third.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from your experience, like, because you vended each one, attending it, how do you feel like it has changed from the first to the second, and what do you think about this upcoming one that is different that you're excited about?
I think the very first one I did it not by myself because we had I had Kat and Ro from Inked Lady behind the table with me, so they helped me out a lot. But I was still like 100% of the time busy, busy, busy. I was also right by the front door for that one, so that one was like crazy busy. The second time I had Steven and we had Winston Smith there to help us out too, but Winston is everywhere, and
is a social
Steven is
butterfly.
everywhere. So once again, stayed behind the table for the most part, which just meant the only disappointing part about that is not getting the ability to really explore. But I did get a couple breaks in which I went straight to the Monster Energy booth
Oh, yeah.
and stocked up. So the Monster was a really cool addition to the show because I feel like it is a brand that everybody knows. So it's kind of like this cool, like, oh, I know that, even whatever. I think it's cool. Between the two, I feel like the second one felt bigger. I liked the venue. It's a really pretty venue. It's a really pretty like location. I don't know. I do like it better, though I did like the food better at the first one. So those are like my comparisons between the two.
Was it the rice bowls?
Those rice bowls were so good, especially when you were like really hungry. They were so good. But yeah, no, I really like it. I like the hotel that's connected to it. We're actually staying across the way this time. We are pinching a couple pennies for whatever reason. And next time we will be staying connected again because I was immediately like, man, I wanted to just walk over. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for the upcoming one. I think with it being closer to the fall, there's going to be a lot more people there that couldn't come to the earlier show because it was like pretty close to Valentine's Day. It was like a little chilly, harder to travel. So I think this one's going to be big, especially with Snake Discovery being there. I was actually, I'm a little bummed that we don't have as many animals as we would in at a November time, because I'm like, man, there's gonna be so many kids who want their first snake, and yeah.
Yeah. So on the Snake Discovery part, would you want to talk about that? Like, how did that come together? Because Snake Discovery is probably the biggest social media presence in the reptile hobby right now, at least that I'm aware of. So how did that come about?
So you're talking, so this is our third show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as the progression of the show goes, it is pretty crazy to think this is our third show ever. Like, again, we haven't even had the show, and how the show has grown, and to be able to get the brands that we love. Again, Monster is such a big thing, like inside the herping culture, because every time we herp, we always post a picture of us with a can of Monster at midnight, and stuff like that. We go through cases of monsters every time we herp, and we're thinking in our heads, like, basically, I'm living out my childhood dreams of integrating everything I love into a business where I can make money, and we just stumbled upon getting lucky, really. Me and Daniel were at Culture Collision, and we met this monster rep there, the guy that's, basically in charge of the monster sales team or whatever in Georgia. And we're talking to him, and we're like, hey, we run this reptile show thing. And the guy was like, email me. And I was just like, yeah, okay, he's just like blowing us off. Daniel emails him, and literally he's like, yeah, sure, we'd love to be there. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we'll sponsor the show, and we're going to give away 2 pallets of monsters. And I was like, and today I was talking to Mary. If you would have told me, like, if I was like a 15-year-old kid, and you told me, hey, when you're 36, Monster is going to sponsor you. And I want to be like, damn, am I like a pro athlete, or like, do I, like pro poker player or something? And no, you host reptile shows, dude. And I was, and it's like, yeah, to get Monster is a big deal. But like, when we started the show last September, the first show, we wanted Snake Discovery. We already knew we wanted Snake Discovery there. We already know the draw that they bring in. We know that they don't do Southeast shows. They don't come to Daytona. They don't come to, obviously, any Repticons here. So no one here in the Southeast has gotten a chance to meet them. And we're like, dude, if we can get them to come, it'll be insane. And I didn't want to keep badgering them and asking, hey, can you come to our show? Can you come to this little show that we just started in Atlanta? We haven't had a show yet, but we want you there, you know? And I said, let's not ask them, keep asking them. Let's wait for them to ask us about it. And that was kind of our method of going about it. So I said, let's build this show big enough where they can't ignore it. And we were lucky enough in February, we had a big turnout. And all the vendors spoke highly of the show. And again, there's a reason why the shirts, I love the shirts, because vendors love the shirt. There's a reason why when we go shop the shirts, we didn't buy $3 shirts and print on them and just, try to make money. We wanted to buy good quality shirts that people wear so that when you go to a major show, you go to big shows, our shirts are floating around everywhere. And so in March, Tinley, I was actually buying drinks for everybody at the auction. And I got a chance to walk by Ed and Emily, and they were like, hey, we heard your show was a big success. And, let's talk. So I ended up taking them out to dinner 2 weeks after that in Dallas. And I said, I'd love to have you guys, no pressure. Just we'd love to have you. And now it's just up to retaining them and showing them a good time in Atlanta, that they have a big fan base here. And we know they have a big fan base here because the comments and the, heck, when they post that YouTube video saying they'll be in Atlanta, it's like 400 people commenting that they're going to be there and can't wait to meet them. And all these kids are excited. It's going to be a good time. And the kids coming to these shows is the future of the industry. You got these 15-year-olds, 12-year-olds, whatever, 10-year-olds coming in and saying they've been researching reptiles and researching ball pythons, and they have a bearded dragon at home or something like that, and how supportive their parents are about it because they're watching good, wholesome, educational content. I think that's going to be a huge boost for the industry overall. It'll help grow the industry overall because we can host the same show. I can make money hosting the same show, having the same 5, 6, 7,000 people out there every show. I'll still make money. You guys are still going to pay for tables. But it won't grow the industry nearly as much as we need it to. And I think these small attractions, or people can call it gimmicks or whatever, as long as it bring new eyes into our industry, more money comes into the industry and more passion, more people, just, and that's what we need as an industry, is to grow it.
So I want to dive into that a little bit more for both of you guys. So on Snake Discovery, every single time they come out to a show, they always have a theme. Maybe it's pirates, maybe it's whatever. I don't remember exactly what or initially it was going to be.
I remember like one year it was like turkey because it's near Thanksgiving, or it'll be tie-dye, just something. It's their theme normally. Yeah, and for this one, it is Pokemon theme, which goes off of like the shirts there with the little Pokemon change to the logo, and a lot of people are really, really excited. Because a lot of people really like Pokemon. Yeah, no, I grew up on Pokemon. I love it. I think it's just amazing. But you had mentioned in kind of a negative way, the idea of gimmicks. And I know that that's being referenced with specifically Snake Discovery using the Pokemon theme, and then Southeast really leaning into it. Be like, this is an amazing way to grow the hobby. Would you want to talk about that in a little bit more depth? And both of you guys, do you feel that the idea of using Pokemon to help grow the reptile hobby, help market the Southeast Reptile Expo is good? Is it bad? Or what aspects of it are good and what aspects of it are bad? I think, just cutting you off, I think that a lot of people make the gotta catch 'em all joke, and it's not like an uncommon thing for people to be like, oh, I want one of everything, kind of like the idea of a Pokemon gotta catch 'em all. But I also think in this case, the Pokemon theme, a big part of it was Snake Discovery, and it's the first time that the showrunner has promoted Snake Discovery's theme. Normally, they'll fly Snake Discovery out or whatever, but you don't usually see them also saying, oh, by the way, wear your tie-dye for Snake Discovery. So I feel like this is the first time that the show has worked together with that huge creator, that huge connection with a younger generation. And I think it's really cool. I think it's fun. It didn't feel like a gimmick. It just started getting thrown around. Yeah.
I think the word gimmick is from a lot of people. First of all, they don't understand Pokemon. They don't like Pokemon because their kids were so obsessed with it, so whatever the situation. But why Pokemon? First of all, they're like, well, why Pokemon? It could be any other cartoon or any other
It could
anime.
be.
Well, first of all, because I own the show, I get to choose it.
And I like
But,
Pokemon. That's
and I like Pokemon.
That's what gets me. It's
No,
like
so I
it's
grew
a
up
fun
with I grew up
thing.
in with Pokemon. I grew up into it. I've always loved Pokemon, and I think Pokemon back when I was younger was also misunderstood the same way Reptiles kind of is, right? Pokemon is pocket monsters. And back when I was younger, I had friends where their parents won't let them watch Pokemon because it's the devil. It's pocket monsters. They won't, you can't watch this stuff. And it's the same thing we hear today about reptiles. Oh, they're gross. They're reptiles. Devil worshippers, and all this negative stuff that they just like have about reptiles. All these notions that reptiles are gross and evil. Same thing I had growing up with Pokemon, and when realistically, what is Pokemon? It's just a cartoon. It's literally some kid that travels and with his buddies and catch monsters. Okay, it's not a big deal, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with implementing other facets of your life and what you enjoy into your business. I've done this for the last 15 years I mean, the Bob's Boss logo is literally a Dragon Ball Z character, and my other logo is my other passion, so it's okay
What is
to
that?
implement your passion into your
Your
business,
passion.
and have people recognize it. I have a lot of people come to my table and was like, dude, that's dope because they love Dragon Ball. And all the people around our age grew up with this, and they're like, and a bunch of nerds nerding out over Dragon Ball or Pokemon or whatever. And, people bring Pokemon cards to my table all the time because they know I love Pokemon. So, with that in mind, this is a Stella Rosa blueberry. And it's one of my favorite wines. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, there we go. We know what to get.
I
All
think
right.
you told
Chat,
us one
write
time.
that down. Stella Rosa. What was it? Blueberry.
A blueberry.
Yeah.
I think one time I asked, I was like, Bob, what are you drinking? And you were like, oh, this is Stella Rosa. And then we went, and I was like, all they have is like blueberry. I'm not getting him blueberry. And I got you like a red, and I gave it to you, and you were like, oh, thanks. I really like the blueberry.
He
one."
immediately threw it in the trash, by the way.
He's like, I'd prefer the
I
blueberry
poured it
next
out. I
time.
poured it out for my homies. Yeah, but no, like it's like even if it is a gimmick. Let's say it is a gimmick. Let's just say we go out there and we make it real gimmicky, but we get 5,000 new reptile owners to come in, like brand new people come in and buy their first reptiles. So what if it's a gimmick at that point, right? Even if you say it's gimmicky, who cares? I got 5,000 brand new people interested in reptiles now. It's fine. You can call it whatever you want, and the whole thing behind it is, when Snake Discovery, when Emily messaged me, she said, hey, what do you want your theme to be? And I'm actually thoroughly surprised that Pokemon hasn't been their theme before. They've done first responders, they've done tie-dye, they've done pirates, all this other stuff. And Pokemon can be polarizing sometimes, and obviously the risk of Pokemon finding out and going, oh my god, you guys are trying to make money off of us. And when in reality, people are just dressing up as Pokemon. Like, we're not selling Pokemon, we're not selling cards there. We're not selling, actually making any money off of it. If they want $5 a shirt off these shirts, they can have it. We're really not making any money off these shirts, really. But so by the time like all that's put in, is just realizing that there's Pokemon fans and there's reptile fans, and we're just merging it all together. And God forbid, people have fun at a reptile show, and not just go there to look at what new colors of ball pythons there are now. At least we go there and do that, plus have fun with our Pokemon friends.
We really like those colors of ball pythons. We're throwing that out there. I do want to say, and then you can.
Okay.
I do think that the idea that there are people who are offended that Pokemon is being used in conjunction with the reptile show, to me, seems like a giant non-issue. Like, nobody's getting hurt on this. Like, it's just a fun thing, and maybe they don't like Pokemon, which is fine. Completely understand that. Not everybody likes the same things. But the idea for people to actually be offended because Snake Discovery wanted their theme for the Southeast Reptile Expo to be Pokemon is a wild take to me.
Yeah.
What were you
I
going to
just
say?
let people have fun. I think one theme that we've been noticing more and more this summer, because I've been intentionally posting rage bait.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like people get so mad and they don't like that's the joke. Half the time that's the joke. The joke is that it's like, oh, this is what makes people mad, and it makes people mad to see that thing. So I think it's like you cannot post anything. You cannot post anything at all on the internet without making at least one person mad. And apparently you can't have a single show because I think you're pretty much like 3 for 3 on pissing people off on your reptile shows, Bob.
Yeah. So I've noticed one thing too. I was going to ask you guys, how many shows do you think occur in the United States a year? Reptile shows.
Just all of them?
All of the United States?
Yeah, all of them. How many?
A lot.
All right, so there's 52 weeks in a year. Across the entire United States, maybe there's 10 a week. 500 to 1,000 reptile shows.
Yeah, so me and Darren were talking about it. We're estimating probably low under 1,000 shows a year. And, you're talking about, let's just say our number is 500 shows a year. So at some point, these shows are going to stack on top of each other, right? There's 10 shows a week. There's going to be 5-6 shows in the same region. And I know this because I got onto a Facebook post today, and there's 6 shows the same weekend as Daytona in the Southeast alone.
That's wild.
In Tennessee alone, there's 3 shows the weekend after our show. And I was very happy that these show promoters avoided, our show week, which is next weekend. There's only 2 shows next weekend. It's us and Raleigh Repticon, which is 7 hours away, thank goodness. But, so the weekend after our show was basically August 15th weekend, 15th, 16th, or whatever. There's 6 shows in the Southeast alone. So you're talking about probably 15 shows in the United States or more, maybe even 20 shows. Southeast, when I'm saying Southeast, I'm only saying Florida, North South Carolina, Alabama, Virginia, Kentucky, like that, this region. I don't even count Texas. I don't count Texas as Southeast, even the corner of Texas. I don't count, that area. But yeah, so you're talking 6 shows on one weekend. Someone's going to get mad, right? You're like, oh my God, you have a show 2 hours away from me. So our job as show promoters, I hope eventually that we can at least have a group chat or something and say, hey man, I want to show on this weekend. Any way you guys can avoid us? That's not happening right now, but I'm hoping down the road where that can happen is, hey, I have a show in Atlanta. Can you not have a show in Chattanooga, an hour and a half away from me? Again, we're not afraid of competition in it by any means. We had a show 30 minutes down the road as our first show, and we did fine. We had 6,000 people through the door with a show 30 minutes away. So we're not afraid of competition, but we would like to avoid it if possible, because all that does is hurt your vendors and hurt the attendees, because now they have to choose, oh man, I live kind of close to Chattanooga, but I want to go to that show in Atlanta. Now they're having to choose. And as a vendor, you're really having to choose, especially if you're friends with both promoters. If you're friends with me and you're friends with another promoter, or you feel loyalty to this other promotion because you've been there for a few years, it makes it sucky because this show is going to be good, you're going to make money, but then you don't want to leave your other promoter high and dry. So yeah, that's my hopes, is that down the road, at least as promoters, we can all talk and avoid scheduling conflicts. I have a very good relationship with Wayne. I have a good relationship with Potter and Bob Ashley. I have a good relationship with Sean and Rami. So we all kind of talk just a little bit. All I got to do is text them and say, hey, I'm going to have a show on August 10th. Is that going to piss anybody off? And NARBC was like, nope, we're going to do the weekend before yours. Wayne literally just told me he doesn't care what I do.
Wayne left you on red.
Yeah, Wayne just doesn't care. Wayne just like, did you mail me a check for Daytona today? Wayne doesn't care. But to be fair, Wayne did call me after at our first show once we scheduled it, and told me like he wished me the best of luck and any advice he needs and all this stuff. They've been extremely supportive. So if they can be supportive in my show, then I think we can definitely get together and say, hey man, there's this many weeks available a year. Can we not have shows 2 hours apart? That's not a lot to ask.
I wanted to read Stacy's comment. Thank you for the super chat, Stacy. She said, truthfully, if a show is themed in a way that we have adults who can enjoy our hobby and invest in a new animal while also having themes that keep our kids entertained, it is a win for us. And I agree.
For sure.
Troy is in the chat, and the first time we went to one of his AARPEs up in Colorado, they had like balloon guy and face painters and stuff, and it was like, and a coloring section. I was like, oh, thank God, please.
Yeah, they
there's
had like
my
a whole
kids.
room.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was
like
so nice to have somewhere to like stick my kid for a minute after they were bored of looking at the same things they look at home. But it was. I like the theme, and then as far as like the shows potentially overlapping at the same time is another. It's kind of like not kind of like, but it's similar to doing these lives, where if we want to do a pop-up live, we're gonna be doing it at the same time as someone, because someone is always doing one. There's a standing live every night of the week, and unfortunately, you're gonna have to overlap with someone, and.
Speaking of that, everybody, grab another device, open it up, and tune in to Chris Eaton, Snakes and the Fat Man, because he's having a live right now. And I'm sorry,
he?
Chris. He is. He is. So
Y'all just stepping all over.
I
Chris.
know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chris. But yes, you guys need to show your support there too. Now.
You know what? Wait until this is over.
Oh.
Just kidding. Go back and forth.
That's right.
You know, and me, Troy, and Nick talk. You know, and we all started at the same time. We all started last March-ish is when we all decided we're going to do the show thing. And we all talked, you know. They ended up moving their Charlotte show to the week after our show in Atlanta. And I was like, man, dude, that's going to hurt your vendors, blah, 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 blah. And it worked out good because their show was originally supposed to be in October or November, something like that. And they were like, hey, we're going to have to move it back. And they messaged me. They're like, hey, is it okay? You know, like, as long as it's not on the same weekend as us, we're fine, you know, and we have schedules out for a reason. We schedule a year out for a reason. You know, me and Troy will call and we'll be like, hey, what's your numbers looking like? Or, you know, what ad space is the best, most useful. And just because we're competition doesn't mean we have to, you know, like, not like each other. It's just a really strange thing for people to be like, oh, because I watched a YouTube video this morning where someone was like, in the snake business, all you're doing is creating more competition. Okay. And in that video, basically what he's implying is that everything you're doing is that, you know, the person you're selling to is going to like, you know, basically be the downfall of your business. And I was like, it definitely doesn't have to be like that. You know, I sell snakes, man. It's not that big of a deal. But when you sell a customer a snake and they are successful with that animal, they'll come back to you and spend more money.
Yeah,
you know, you want this customer to be successful so they can come back and invest in an animal that you make next year that's even higher end or even more gene stacked or even prettier, whatever the thing is. And you want these customers to be successful, but it's just a weird take to be like, oh, they're your competition. Now you want them to fail, which is like really a bad take, because I want Troy and Nick's show to be successful because I want more reptile people in the industry so I can sell them snakes. That's the whole point of it, you know? And it's just so weird for people to be like, oh, they're your competition. You need them to fail. And I'm like, I really don't. No. You know, I want the industry to grow.
Yeah, that implies it's a zero-sum game, which it's just not. One, everybody knows that there's new people coming into the reptile hobby all the time. If there were no new people coming into the hobby ever again, there could still be a viable economy in the reptile world, because we're
jobs.
We have jobs. We're bringing in income. We can buy a snake from Bob. Bob could buy a snake from us. Not that Bob's ever bought a snake from us, but we're working on it. But it could happen. It could happen, chat.
I got a banana pie that just shut out.
We got some bells for you, Bob. But
we love bells.
Now, with this,
our Patreon calls it the Leviathan Special.
They do. We hatched out too many bells in a row.
It's because we had 3 clutches in a row. It just happened that way. Anyway.
But with this, I do understand and I agree that if, let's say, we have a snake and Bob has a snake and it's the exact same genes, it's the exact same price, that somebody is probably going to pick to buy from Bob before they're going to buy from us, because Bob's been around for 10 years.
It pisses me off, though. I'm like, my bell is a better bell. You see this white snake with blue eyes, it's better than that white snake with blue eyes.
But so I do think that there is an aspect of competition, but that doesn't mean that Bob's going to always get people to buy his bell before ours. Sometimes we're going to undercut him, and we're going to sell it first.
True. That's
Sometimes
true.
I'm going to say, ooh, that Bob guy. Ooh.
Yeah, you don't want to buy it.
No, I think that nobody buys one snake. People like to purchase more than one. It's kind of like nobody has one of a lot of things. I don't know where I was going with that. But because of that, I don't think it has to be that competitive. We have a friend who has nothing at all to do with reptiles, but she'll occasionally watch like a video, like Steven's YouTube video, to show support. She might jump in a live or something. And one thing that she pointed out is she's like, I think it's really cool that you guys always wear your competitors' shirts. And I'm like, they're just our friends.
Yeah,
they're not
just
really
our
our
friends.
competitors. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's where I was going with that.
Again, I think that there is an aspect of the hobby that does have competition in it, but just because you compete against somebody in a game doesn't mean that you're not friends with them, and doesn't mean that it's not a good time.
Yeah,
and
as
that,
long as I win, I'm fine.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I hardly consider it competition.
Yeah. As long as I'm blowing you out of the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with this, I feel like that the specifically Southeast Reptile Expo, more so than pretty much any other show that I've ever been to, all of the vendors seem to really, really get along and really vibe, and everybody has like a good time. It just, the vibes at Southeast Reptile Expo are unlike any other show. And again, there's lots of other amazing shows that I love to go to.
You've got Dave Kaufman racing around on a go-kart through the show.
Was it Dave Kaufman?
Wasn't it?
I don't know.
They don't all look alike, Courtney.
I thought that's who it was. I'm pretty sure I have it on video. I thought it was
No,
Dave.
I don't know. But anyways.
Not David
David
Kaufman. Dave
Levinson.
Levinson.
Dave
Oh.
Levinson. Oh, sorry.
I mixed them up actually one time. I was talking to Dave Levinson's girlfriend or wife, and I thought that she was saying because I was talking about Kaufman, and she said something like, "Oh yeah, that's my husband," and I was like, "Oh." But she thought I was talking about her Dave. I thought she was talking about. So that's not the first time I've mixed the two of them up.
Yeah,
It was not Dave
Actually,
Kaufman. Everyone, sorry.
Courtney has this all the time. Like, she's
Stop.
like.
I am
Okay,
not good.
I do it,
I am
too.
not good with names.
Yeah.
I don't even know what yours is.
Yeah, she's like, oh, is this Ethan? Like, what's going
Oh yeah,
on?
it's Ethan, Bob. I don't know, Harrison, Wayne.
Oh
they all
my
do
god. Yeah. Never mind.
No, so I think the vibes of the Southeast Reptile Expo, and one of the reasons is when we had our first show, I messaged everyone that's vending, and I said, "Hey, we need this to hype up beyond what it already is." And they're like, "What do you mean, what it already is? There hasn't even been a show." And you notice before the first show even happened, there's reels, there's all these jokes, and there's videos, and all these Facebook stories and stuff like that. And so we hyped it up so much that when everyone came to the show, they were already excited. Like, it was already a success before the doors opened. And when you get to the show on Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock on a Saturday, it felt almost like a COVID show again, because the vendors were happy because they're making money. Even if they don't get along, man, I'll tell you this right now, even during COVID, even when I saw vendors I didn't like that much, I was still in a good mood because I made so much freaking money. When people are making money, when vendors are selling stuff and they're getting to talk to people, and you're talking to a new customer, a potential customer every minute, there's someone new at your table, you're in a good mood. If you're at a show and there's a total 1 hour of no one coming to your table, man, it sucks, right? We've all been to that show before where you sit there for an entire hour and you haven't talked to no one even lowballs you. Someone come up and offer me half price or something, like, lowball me on something. And when that happens is, on that Saturday afternoon, you haven't talked to a customer in an hour, everyone's in a bad mood. But when there's a constant flow of customer base on Saturday and you're swamped and you're busy and you've been collecting money, even if they haven't made a ton of money and they made some money, they're still in a good mood because they talk to a ton of people and there's a lot of opportunities to sell. I think that contributes to a lot to the vibe of why everyone's, having a good time. Is you have to get that constant customer flow. And then that goes back to your advertising efforts and, just overall hype of the show.
Yep. On that one, I don't know, do you want to tell the story? I think we've talked about it before, but I don't know if we've ever done it specifically on YouTube. But at Southeast Reptile Expo in February, we were vending with Winston. Winston had some of his animals on our table, and he ends up making an amazing sale. Do you want to talk about it?
No,
Or?
you go for it. You're
Okay,
halfway
all right.
through it.
So we're sitting there. It's Friday. It's setting up, and we're going through. We're putting out all these different animals, and Winston, I'm pretty sure Bob's. By the way, anybody who vends Southeast Reptile Expo,
Be on time.
be on time. Bob's biggest pet peeve is if you are still pricing your animals when it opens.
Or
like,
if it's like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., doors are closed. Don't be trying to lollygag.
Yeah.
He's gonna tase you to get out of there. Like, it's
Yeah, I kick people out. Yeah.
So Winston shows up 15 minutes before close.
And he's putting some animals out on the table, and as he's putting them out, he had like this really cool combo hypopuzzle het sunset male. And we have on our table bells and bananas because that's the kind of animals that we have available.
Well, never mind.
All right. And one of our other friends, other vendors come up, they see the animal, and they buy this amazing combo hypopuzzle het sunset on Friday at Southeast Reptile Expo in cash. $25,000 is being stacked out on top of our bells. And we're like, this is some bullshit.
I'm like, excuse me, that's the most money my yellow belly clown is ever going to see. Can you stop embarrassing her?
Yeah. So again, there were insane sales. I think Troy from Balls and Strikes, he did like a $5,000 sale that show. There were lots of people who did those really, really big stuff, which I think is really cool because when it comes to a lot of these shows that we vend, which are more local shows, it's definitely pet segment, which is great because you can make a lot of money there. You can build the reptile hobby through that. You can build a customer base. But the fact that Southeast, there's also these big buyers, I think that's a really, really cool opportunity.
I know somebody that vended Schaumburg that said this past weekend they were there and they felt like, for their experience, it just felt like it was kids and families, that there wasn't a lot of like breeders going around buying things. And I know that in the experiences that I've had, having been to all of them, unlike Steven, there are breeders, and I think a big thing is like when vendors do well, they walk around and they spend money. So you want the vendors to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also cultivating your vendors and customer base, and you want a more mature reptile base, like people who are experienced and educated in reptiles or are current breeders, that you advertise to those people. And one way to advertise to those people is because those people watch reptile podcasts. Your brand new people don't. Your brand new people are just, oh, look, an ad on Facebook. I'm going to go to this show and spend $50 on a 3D printed toy or Pac-Man frog or whatever. But those customers spending $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $25,000 on a snake watch reptile podcasts because they want to be part of the industry. They want to grow in the industry. That's why before every show, all 3 shows so far that we've done, before every show, I do a podcast, 2 podcasts a week, 3 podcasts a week. And I reached out to Courtney and Steven to say, I want to do a podcast this weekend with you guys so that I
Figure
can
it out.
get the word out and get these breeders in there. I'm using you guys' clout to get breeders into the show. And these breeders, these aspiring breeders or these seasoned breeders, whatever, they come in and they spend $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 there. And now these vendors are going to say, man, this is the show to be at, right? So imagine after that show what Winston's feeling, because I know that's not the only sale he made.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't.
He just made a lot of sales.
Yeah.
He did.
So that the fact that $25,000 sale wasn't even half of the money that WHS made that weekend. Mm-hmm. So now he leaves the show. He's calling his customers. He's telling his friends, hey, man, this show is the show to be at. So now the next show, bigger customers will show up looking for these high-end animals, and then we had because of Winston and because of the success of these other vendors, you're going to have to ask Daniel on the specific numbers. We have a line of vendors waiting to get in. And the good news is of having a line, sure, it sucks to have to wait list people and not let everybody in. But the good thing about it is now I can pick and choose. I can be choosy. It's like being a good-looking man. You get to choose the woman you want to be with, and it's great, me and Steven know this. We'll explain it to you, Courtney, how it is. But
what do I get?
Getting to be able to pick and choose your vendors and basically going through the list and saying, okay, these are the guys we want, and now that we have these big vendors, the best of the vendors, in my opinion, the best vendors I can pick out of the list, then those vendors will promote that they're going to be at the show, and now their customers are going to travel in to see them, and then maybe buy from somebody else or buy from them and spend money with them. So yeah, that as the show grows, as the vendors make money, I think the show would just continue to gain more hype and overall prestige of the show, and it will help overall the industry.
And so somebody asked in the chat, it was my mom, are there going to be plant-specific vendors at this show?
Yes, we had a complaint last time there wasn't enough plants. And again, our show is not all American Reptile and Plant Expo. We're the Southeast Reptile Expo. However, we do need more plant representation there. So we did go out and pull 4 new plant vendors. As all they do is plants, exotic plants. And they will be there setting up. One vendor is 8 tables, another vendor is 4 tables. So these are big plant setups, and they bring in thousands of plants. So it will be really good. Even then, reptile vendors like a good buddy of mine, Brandon Long, they bring plants, and Josh Yackey from Ball Python Shed, he brings plants. A lot of vendors bring plants, but not in large quantities. These people are wanting to see these exotic $2,000-3,000 plants. So we went out and we found some vendors to add specifically for that. And my vision for the show for next year is that anything reptile even related, and in my opinion, even in relation, is outside of reptiles, and obviously reptile specific and plant specific, is even the fish industry, or even in just stuff like bonsai industry. Maybe we can bring in 2 of each vendors of those, and bring in a different market for that.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about just all the diversity that's at the show, and I do enjoy seeing the plants because we've gotten into the bioactive, so I like being able to buy some and add them into the enclosures and stuff. Yeah. We did get another super chat.
Thank you.
Huge thanks, Kate and Bill of Heart of the Python, for the $20 super chat. You guys are amazing. Again, I still don't know how to bring it up, but
I'm scared that if I click on this studio
it's gonna crash everything.
It's gonna mess it up. So I'm so sorry we can't pin your comments.
Yes, but so they say in there, having experienced vendors run a show is what it's going to take for the next generation to take the next generation of shows to the next level. And I completely agree. I think that everything that Nick and Troy are doing is just, every single idea that you guys bring up is just crushing it, and it's making shows better. It's making it a better experience for the vendors, for the guests, the customers that are coming in. And overall, I think people are so excited about what you guys have all done for the reptile industry by starting these shows. I do want to add one extra thing on that. So this show, you've already said, has a waiting list, and there's a ton of people who really want to get into it, and I think that it's already one of the top shows in the entire world. One thing that I really like that you did last time, and I know that you did it this time, but I don't think you had enough as many tables as last time, but you had that whole island last time dedicated to people who had never vended a show before. And I think that was a super cool way to pay it forward. And I know this time that you didn't have as many tables, I don't think, to do a whole island, but I know that Kate and Bill have never vended a show before, a part of the Python, and they got in. So I love the fact that you are going in for providing an avenue for new breeders to get into this amazing show. How exactly do you go about picking the new people to get in?
Right. So it's always a crapshoot when you're talking to new vendors, because you don't know what they're going to bring. You don't know what their setup's going to look like. But if you don't give them a chance, when the heck are they going to get any experience vending, right? It's like when I first graduated college and trying to get a job, and they're like, well, you need 2 years work experience. I'm like, no one will hire me. I will never get the work experience. And the one way we choose is very simple. It's biased, it's simple, and people hate it. But we choose our Patreon members. And the reason for that is I know my Patreon members know how to vend shows, because we do how to vend show conversations. We have literally a checklist in the Patreon group. There's a little tab that says stuff we use. I post on there what lights we use, what bedding we use, what cleaner we use, what displays we use, how to label displays, how to look presentable, banners, tablecloths, all the things that I've gone through in my experience as a failed vendor 10 years ago when I went to a show with no tablecloth. All that experience that I've already shared with the Patreon. So sure, I know this is your first time vending, but these people can also message me and go, hey, Bob, this is our first show. We're excited. We're nervous, blah, 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 blah. But can you help us with this? And I will. And so I know that everything they bring is going to be up to the standard of what we want as for show vendors. All those new show vendors from last show now already have a few shows under their belt, at least one show under their belt. So now they're going to increase whatever or upgrade whatever they felt wasn't good enough. So as we go, these vendors will just keep getting better and better and better. We did add another group of islands in the back of the show. So we have a few more tables, not quite as many as we would like to, but obviously we have to leave a giant space for snake discovery because we already know how crazy that line's going to be. And the good news is in 2026, we'll be able to rent out the entire venue. So that's an extra 30,000 square feet that we'll be able to utilize. And I would really like this to happen. So you guys know how the venue looks. When you go in, there's that little escalator that comes down right into the venue. I would like to rent out the entire venue, but not just those rooms. I want the entire venue. I want it to basically, you guys pay your ticket at the escalator, and as soon as you come down,
Ball pit.
As soon as you come down the escalator, boom, zoom it. You know, and very next vendor, boom, you know, you have dry goods. Very next vendor, maybe you have no animals outside in that lobby area, but we can push all non-animal related items out there. Then we can utilize even more space, maybe another 50 vendors out there or something. Eventually, obviously, the most important thing is that vendors make money. So we don't want to add so many vendors that each vendor makes so much less money it's not worth vending. So we want to do it where as the attendance grows and as the amount of money that comes through the door grows, we can add by percentage the amount of vendors that's appropriate so that everyone there is still going to have a successful weekend.
Yeah, yeah. So you were going to say something, was it?
Well, I was going to talk about the showcase.
I do want to talk about the showcase, but I also want to stay on the Patreon topic just a little bit more.
Yeah, so we both have Patreon.
So in the chat, there's lots of people who are super excited about this, and they're like, "Oh, Bob's Patreon's gonna get flooded." People are like, "How much is in my wallet right now?" All right, so
I did say about that because Daniel's promising that you're gonna ID everybody's snakes. I said that like in the TikTok live, and like 2 or 3 people were like, "Oh, will he do that?" And I was like, "Oh, wrong crowd. My bad. Sorry, Bob."
So with this, would you want to give a beyond just potentially, or just simply the fact that if new breeders are wanting to get into the Southeast Reptile Expo, that you do give priority to people who are in the Patreon because you're able to like mentor them? What are some of the big benefits? Like, what's the sales pitch right now on the
Plug
Patreon?
your Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you right now, our Patreon is an effort for everybody. It's the reason I don't go and just try to recruit everybody for the Patreon. If you spend money currently with me and Josh, you should 100% be a Patreon member because there's no downside to being in it. There's a chance to win $1,000 realistically. You can win up to $1,000 every month in Patreon credits, which basically just credit towards animals. And every single dollar you spend in Patreon fees goes directly back to you in basically like a savings account type deal in credit. So let's say in 1 year you spend $1,200 with us on Patreon, $100 a month. At the end of the year, basically all you do is pick out $1,200 worth of animals, and that's it. So if you already spend money with me and Josh, it just makes sense. But if you're never going to spend money with me and Josh, if you're just like, man, those guys don't produce anything cool because all I do is albino G-stripes, then, don't join our Patreon because you're never going to use your credits. Not worth it at all.
And do you have any hybrids coming out? I'm just curious.
What now?
Any hybrids coming out? Blood balls?
Sunset blood balls. But so if you already spend money with me and Josh, if you want to get mentored on the business side of things, pairing side of things, and I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest things in our Patreon that's the most advantageous is that we have 100 members, and got to be at least 50 of these members are seasoned breeders. Mm-hmm. Like in the chats now, we have a lot of members in the chat right now currently that are Patreon members already. But we have, obviously, you guys, right? Mm-hmm. And we have Jersey guys. We have Rice is in there. We have a lot of Brandon Nixon is a very seasoned breeder in a lot of species. So we have Kittinger, all these guys they know what they're doing. So when you ask for advice, it's not just from me or from Josh. You have 50 other seasoned breeders that can help you. And it's a pretty tight-knit little group. We have dinners after every major show. We have dinners together, and we just talk snakes. and it's a good time. We have get-together events that are a lot of fun, in my opinion. And yeah, overall, a good time. So here's the problem. Here's the problem with giving Patreon members priority for our shows, because eventually there's going to be 100 vendors there as all our Patreon members. Eventually, we're probably going to have to implement some type of like based on how long you've been in Patreon. Like, you can't just join my Patreon 1 week and be like, all right, I need 8 table end cap, and then get your end cap and then drop the Patreon. So we got to kind of stay conscious of that. But yeah, overall, we give priority to our Patreon members because we know they know what they're doing because we mentor them personally.
So before we jump over to the showcase, because I do want to talk about that.
I was going to say one other thing. So you had talked about how you use your, like, what we use that you pinned it to the Discord and everything. And then you went in to say that, like, as people vend more, they get new things, they fix things. I think we have something new in our setup every single show. We have, like, we're trying something out, we don't like it, we forget to get a new thing, we don't, so we have something new every single time. We just bought lights for our banner, and we're going to put that on. We've gotten a new banner, a bigger banner, different substrate for our things. Stephen, we'll have an idea, we'll get different. Inked Lady had these really cool hand sanitizer bottles, so we robbed them of that idea. It's always growing, you're always doing something different. You figure something out every single time you vend on a way that works better for you. And then somebody in the chat had asked what your vetting process is for vendors outside of Patreon members. I didn't know if you
right. So Patreon member alone doesn't automatically get you tables for our shows. You can, we've very fortunate, actually. I will say unfortunately, but very fortunate. We've only ever booted one Patreon member, so we haven't had like terrible members where we're like, we'll never give those guys tables. So outside of the Patreon, we want variety. That's basically the main thing is variety. We want someone to come to the show and experience not just ball pythons and crested geckos, even though I'm a ball python breeder myself. Obviously, it's the best species of reptiles in the world, best pet reptile in the world, but maybe
get so many comments.
Yeah, they get so fatigued of seeing ball python, 10,000, 8,000, 5,000. And they're like, well, first of all, what's the difference? And then they get to go to the next table and see maybe lace monitors or dart frogs. So the variety is probably the most important factor when we look at applications. So Daniel sends me applications about a month, 2 months to 3 months out of the show. I get an application every day from Daniel, pretty much, or multiple applications. And he'll be like, look at this one, look at this one. And he knows which ones not to send me. Like, hey, I'm a ball python breeder from Wisconsin. We just started breeding last year. This is our second show, and we specialize in blue-eyed Lucy's. And
what's wrong with that? Oh, you don't want us to have too much competition. Got it. Thank you.
I'm trying to avoid the competition. But yeah, so he knows which ones not to send me. He's like, hey, we just started breeding crested geckos 6 months ago. We want 4 tables. Yeah, we're probably not adding you because as far as crested geckos go, we already know how. Just the crossover between ball python breeders and crested gecko breeders is very crazy. But if you message us and you're like, hey, I specialize in dwarf monitors and my super specialty is king's monitors, and yeah, you're probably getting a table. So any specialty type tables get first dibs pretty much. That's why we wanted Sundown so much. Yeah. Right? We wanted Sundown there because he works all these really obscure species, very cool species.
Man, those Ambronias are so cool.
The Ambronias, come on, man. And I wanted Split Rock. I want a guy there that specializes in black-headed pythons, getting turtle guys, getting tortoise breeders, So the variety is the key. And then obviously, if you are just working very niche, even ball python niche projects or high-end projects and stuff like that, we want that. And we just want well-represented tables. We can look on your Instagram, by the way. Everything's public. And I had one vendor send in a request. I went and looked at their page, and every other picture is like just dirty enclosures, and their display literally is those cake things you see like at Publix or at Costco where they put cookies in those things.
Yeah.
So they have a ton of those, and then they have a net that goes over.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of my least favorite setups of all time is literally those little cake things and then a giant net that goes over it. It's just so not welcoming. I don't even want to walk past your table and look at animals. So yeah, certain setups we want, right? We don't want a swap meet type look. We've all been to that reptile show before. If you've been to enough reptile shows before, you know what I'm talking about. You go to this reptile show and it looks like a swap meet. It's just like kind of dingy. These tables don't have tablecloths on them, and it's just a swap meet type look, and that's not what we're going for. We want a high scale, nice representation, maybe like some pride in what you do. Like lights would be nice. Even though in our venue lights not very necessary because it's very well lit, but like take some pride in your work, and if you take pride in your work, we see it, and a way better chance of us adding you to the show.
Yeah. Oh, and in chat, it has been pointed out that feet pics will also help you get into the show. So send those.
That is
send
true.
your feet
That is
Bob.
100% correct.
Yeah. So before we jump over to the showcase, on Saturday, the show is going on the regular day. After the show ends at 6 o'clock, we are both doing, as in Leviathan and Bob's Ball Shed, are doing a combined Patreon meetup. Would you guys want to talk about that? Just kind of talk about like how, if people are interested, how do they go to it? What's going on with it? Stuff like that.
Well, for us, it's one of the top tiers of our Patreon to be included in a reptile meetup once a year. So for us, we have a certain, I think about 30 people from our Patreon will be there. And it'll be at the venue. And then I don't know what the requirements are for Bob's Patreon. So if you want to get in on the cheap, probably go to Bob's.
Yeah. We're paying for the food.
So we don't have to do the tiers thing because nobody signs up for our lowest tier of our Patreon.
Except us.
We started like a lowest tier Patreon just for people to like get like their feet wet and join and just to see what it's about, and nobody signs up for it. Maybe the perks aren't good enough or something, but yeah, all the Patreon members are invited. It's going to be dinner at 6 o'clock. Leviathan's paying for all the dinner, so you guys just all come out hungry and eat all the food.
It's
and
literally
I'm going to be
just
there scalping
bread,
their
sandwich, bread, and rice.
Patreon members. So
yeah. So it'll be like pizza and wings, and then it's going to be more of a mixer style than like a dinner. So some of the feedback that we got, we did it at Daytona last year. Some of the feedback that we got was that there wasn't enough room to really mingle. It was very much like table and chairs. So this time there will be places for people to sit, especially if you need to sit down. But it's going to be a lot more of a mixer style for people to be able to mingle. And Bob told me I was lame for this, but I
told you it was also necessary.
I did get name tags. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a name tag before, but this is what they look like. And I do need to be reimbursed for that. Those were like $1 a piece. So we'll have the name tags, so you'll be able to like say who you are. And I think there's gonna be some really cool people there. I believe like the Harbins will be there. RGI will probably be there. Bob will be there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Josh will stop by, but hopefully Josh will be able to see him there.
It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool people in our Patreon, so. And they're also probably in yours too. So.
I thought it was so lame when she was like, "Let's have name tags," and I was like, "Courtney."
I said, "Hey, what do you think?"
And when they sent that to me, it was on Leviathan, like from Leviathan, but I just knew it was Courtney because I was like, "This is the dumbest idea." But then I thought about it, and I was like, I only know people based on their business name, so I actually don't know half of their like real first names.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, hey, it's, whatever from their
two name tags, one for
idea.
business, one for actual name. No,
all right, like put your business name and a logo. Draw your logo.
Draw your logo, please. Draw your logo. Yeah, no. What I said was like, hey, do you think it would be super lame if we all had name tags? And Bob literally just said yes. And that was it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, would it be lame? And I'm like, yes. Then I said, it's also necessary.
Good.
All right, so moving a little bit away from Patreon, but still Southeast Reptile Expo. So we are, for the Saturday portion of the show, we are going to, it's Courtney and I, our in cap that we have, are going to be putting on the Reptile Showcase. And a huge thank you for letting us do it at your show. And I'm really, really excited. We got the awards. So this is going to be a breeder showcase. I don't know if you guys can see them very well. For right now, we're only doing 3 different categories because we are doing it as a trial. We'll see if we actually want to continue doing this. Because a lot of people are very opinionated, and it makes it a little difficult to get anything done and not make people mad. So, how much hate mail have you gotten about this on us doing this
I do want to show
showcase?
off the logo because
Oh, yeah.
I think it turned out really good, and we really liked how it kind of looked like an award already, and it just looks really good on the ribbon. So that's that.
Yeah. So for all the emails and messages that we've gotten about the showcase, I would like to let you know the reason we're not highlighting boas, frogs, geckos, or all these other dumb species is because Courtney hates them.
Yeah, it was Courtney.
Sand boas or nothing.
Yeah, she only wants to do ball pythons. I pitched it. I was like, hey, boas are really cool. What about these monitors? And she was like, they're all dumb. Let's
And then
just
Courtney
do ball
spit
pythons.
on Bob. Like,
Right, and then she spit on me. I did not have to pay for that, but she did. But no,
You get one free.
it's gotten a really good response. I think it will be a really good turnout of it. The shows in Asia, Thailand specifically, they had a really, really big response for that. I was supposed to be there at that show as a judge, but we couldn't make it out there. I'll go out next year. And they've done this showcase thing for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's been very successful. The vendors love it. The people who attend love it. They love boating, and the vendors take like a lot of pride into like picking the animal that they're going to put up for, for the contest. It's just really fun. It's interactive, and just something different. God forbid people try to have fun at a reptile show, right? So just something new, something fun. And again, if it sucks, so well, we tried.
Yep. Huge shout out to Kate and Bill of Heart of the Python, because they are the ones who kind of came to us with the idea initially, and we were like, that's a really, really good one. And also shout out, I don't think he's in the chat, but John from Inquiline, years ago he had mentioned something like this to us. So it's definitely not like our idea. It's just happened to be that we stole it from you guys. I'm sorry, Kate, but we love you. We love you.
Yeah, no, it's a fun thing, and it's meant to be a fun thing. And when we first started talking about it, we were like, okay, well, we'll have to do crested geckos and leopard geckos. We'll have to do boas, but do we just do like imperautors? Do we do like rainbows? And do we just like consider all boas together? And then in that case, well, what about like colubrids? How do we separate and then it got to the point where we were like, hey,
we'll need the whole venue
let's
to do this.
just start with one, and then we had kind of talked about it, but again, our audience is mostly ball python people, so we had talked about it. We thought we'd worked through a lot of these kinks, and then when we posted it in the vendor chat, everybody was like, well, what about my species? What about my species? Which is totally valid, because we were posting it in the vendor chat. We were like, hey, by the way, some of you get to do this fun thing. But in my head, we had talked about it so much that I didn't really think about the fact that we hadn't talked about it to that audience yet. So, it's just blame me. Thank you, Justin. Once again, it's a running thing. It's all my fault. So it was kind of like, well, we do want to do it for you, but we don't know enough about your species. We don't want to step in and do it right now. We're just trying to get started. We're trying to make sure this one works before we
Expand it.
And like, who are we to judge these other species that we know nothing about? So also, we are not judges, and we're not going to tell anybody who the judges are. It's top secret, so that you guys can't influence them, because I know how you are.
Yeah. It's a loose secret. There are some people who know already. So you just got to do some digging.
Yeah, all you have to do is ask Steven, and he'll tell you. That's the digging.
But so the way that we're doing it, we're going to have 3 judges.
I didn't want to tell Bob.
Bob's putting it on.
Steven told Bob.
So we're going to have 3 judges, and each of the judges are well-known, well-respected people in the reptile hobby. Ideally, they don't have animals to enter into the show, so that way they don't lose out by not being able to enter something. Because that is a little disappointing if you were excited and now you can't.
Geckos are included, Chris. You can enter a gecko.
Yes,
Any gecko.
yes. Any geckos are, that's a category. So it is, the 3 categories are best recessive ball python, best non-recessive ball python, and best gecko. So any gecko species, as long as they can fit in like an ARS style display enclosure.
Yeah, so not your giant lychees, but if you've got a small one, it's not focusing. Cover my face, no?
Put it in front of your face. Here. No, all right, never mind. Anyways,
There it
so
goes.
best gecko, we got that. So there's 3 judges. The judges are going to evaluate every single animal, and they're going to score them based off of the animals in the competition. Not all geckos that exist in the world. It's just the ones that are entered in the competition. And the way that it works is they're going to look at a gecko, and they're going to be like, this gecko, of all of the other geckos that are right in front of me, is among the best of them. I'm going to give it a 5. This next gecko, it's about average, given all of these other geckos that are directly in front of me right now. It's going to get a 3. This next one, it's beautiful, but it is my least favorite of all of them that are directly in front of me right now. That one gets a 1. Each judge is going to score the animals like this, and then the public will be able to score the animals with the exact same methodology, but the public can just scan a QR code and scan any or judge any animal they want. They don't have to judge them all. And at the very end, all of the public scores are going to get averaged together into 1 through 5 score for each animal, and then the 3 different judges are going to have their scores averaged together with the public, and that's going to create the final score. The highest scoring animal in each category is going to win the blue ribbon for that category, and then the highest scoring animal, period, regardless of the species, regardless of the category, is going to win a trophy. But we don't have that yet.
If it ever comes in. Also, Steven did leave out one thing in his averages. If you are a member of our Patreon, you get 1 point added. If you are not a member of Bob's Patreon, you get 2 points.
Double points.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. But yeah, we also ordered a trophy for like best in show. It has not arrived yet. We ordered it from the same company, so I mean, I guess
UPS is just being weird and hasn't delivered it. But
it's fine. It'll get
it is
here.
what it is.
If
Yeah.
not, Steven will just buy you cupcakes.
So, for Bob, for your perspective on this, we reached out to you with the idea. What made you want to say, like, yeah, that's cool? Because you did give tables for this. You gave table space for the show. And why do you want to support it?
I don't. No. Darian made me.
Oh,
No, I've thought about this idea for a while of why we don't have it here in the U.S. The Asian shows have had it for years. Dogs have it. Dog shows have it. All these other shows have it. Every other show has it. Horse shows, dog shows, all these other shows have fish shows. I went to a beta show in Atlanta, and they had a judge go up and measure these betas and judge them based on color, size, gills, how flared, and all this other things. And then I was like, we breed specifically for color, mutations, looks. And yet there's no judging criteria or a show or competition or anything. But I didn't want to do it myself because it sounds like a lot of work. So I just let you guys do it.
I think Bob's exact words were, "Oh, I don't have to do anything? Yeah, cool."
Yeah, literally when they brought it up, they're like, you don't actually have to put it on. I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Sign me up and give me one of those fancy ribbons, please.
Yep. So with this, I know we've gone back and forth on whether or not you want to enter animals in it because you're not judging this specific one. Do you know if you're going to, or are you not going to on this one?
Because Justin won't be there personally, Chase is probably going to get to choose the animal. Maybe I have a way better chance that way. That would be crazy if I just threw a blue-eyed Lucy in there because no one thought to do that.
I mean, you win.
I might. Well, we'll have to see what we have. We'll have to see. I have really cool animals I hatched recently, so I might just enter the most random animal. I might just it'll be like nothing genetically impressive. It'll just be the craziest looking one.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I think we'll probably enter something.
I think
Since I'm not a judge.
if we hit just some banana Mardi Gras last year that people lost their minds over when they saw them because they're so unique looking, and you just don't see them at shows all the time. And I was thinking, honestly, if we had some banana Mardi Gras, they're gorgeous, they're incredible with the high.
Literally what I was going to enter. I showed it off in a TikTok live earlier, and I was like, this is one of the prettiest animals in the whole room.
Yeah,
banana
it's
Mardi Gras.
gorgeous. Yeah. Or like a pastel freeway. It looks like a lightning bolt. They're so cool.
But if I win, it's gonna look rigged.
It will.
No, well,
it would look rigged. But
if I'm a judge, everyone will know it's legit. There's no fucking way Courtney is leaning it toward the bomb. But yeah.
But so I'm super excited about it, and ultimately, if it goes well and we want to do it again, our goal with it, what is this?
Can D4
S get a shout out? All right, so
you have to mention it. It's a super chat.
Okay, all right. Daniel just give us a super chat. Thank you, Daniel. Can D4S get a shout out? I don't know what that is.
D4S is our group of we come together to worship every night. It's my brothers in Christ. It's me, Chris, Danny, Jay, Will, and Daniel, and we come together every night for our nightly worship sessions. And then we also play Diablo together and Vanquish Sanctuary of Demons.
Any
So
other games?
we're doing the Lord's work.
I've been big on Little Nightmares lately.
She has been big on Little Nightmares, so been getting it. So
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, our group is super lit, dude.
Mario Kart?
New season of Diablo comes out, and we're on it. Like we're on it for like a week, and then we're done.
Courtney's mad because she wasn't invited to join your D4S.
He did invite me, and I.
Boys only. Sorry.
Oh wait, Steven was invited.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about the showcase. If it goes well, if there's a lot of interest, and it's not so much work that it feels like it's just exhausting and we can't actually like vend and all those different things, we likely will do it again in the future. But we also eventually want ourselves to be able to enter animals.
Yeah.
So we kind of have it, and you'll see it in the logo. We have it not tentatively. It's called the Reptile Showcase Association. And if it goes well, we'll let people join it, and then eventually other people can put on the show, and we can.
Yeah, it would really suck to hatch an Ultramel Sunset that you can't enter.
Yeah, we can't enter. I'm very, very.
Steven's
sad
like,
about
feed
that.
it, feed it,
I did.
feed it. It shed.
What's
feed
worse?
It.
Hey, what's worse? Not being able to enter, or being able to enter with an Ultramel Sunset and then getting beat by a banana.
That's the whole. That's the whole point. Actually, it wouldn't get beaten by a banana Mardi Gras because a banana Mardi Gras is technically non-recessive.
It's head clown.
I'm a little disappointed that we can't enter the Ultramel Sunsets into, or an Ultramel Sunset
But if it takes another meal before the show, we might bring it.
We'll put it underneath somebody else's name, and then we'll rig it. So, if an Ultramel Sunset wins,
I was
we
gonna
all know
say
what
bring
happened.
it to put on our table, but only if it keeps eating. I mean, they're doing pretty good, but they hatched out kind of small.
One meal, good enough.
So we are at an hour and a half on this. So I want to do one last kind of wrap-up topic that we had talked about at the beginning, and this is the kind of conflict, controversy. We talked about it a bit with Southeast. There's been other things that have happened. So with this, in your guys' opinion, what is your approach when controversy, when conflict is going on in the hobby, and when it could potentially bring you into it? How do you guys approach it?
Send screenshots to my friends.
Golly, we're the same person.
Did you see this? Watch it.
So I take the high road always. You know, I always try to be the more mature person out of the two when there's any type of conflict. So I will go and gossip about this person to everyone I know and ruin their name. Mm-hmm. You guys have known me for long enough that you know if I have beef with certain breeders, and you wouldn't even know about it if you weren't close friends with me because I don't talk about it. I try not to bring it up, and then if it comes up, if you ask enough times, I would just say, hey man, I don't deal with that breeder or something like that. I try not to go into too much details about it because it's really between me and whoever it is. 90% of the times in the industry, beef occurs when one party thinks they got screwed over on a deal or something like that, you know, and it's just snakes. To me, it's just snakes. I had beef with a breeder back in the day because they sold me really terrible animals, didn't prove out genetically, stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I was just like, it's just snakes. I'll hatch more, you know? So when this breeder later on fell sick and was in need, I still reached out, still talked to him, still sent them money on the GoFundMe, because in my opinion, it's just snakes. I'll hatch more animals, you know, it's not that big a deal. But there are other beef that's deeply rooted, and I'll be first to say it. I'm petty, man, and I don't let shit go.
Not me. I hold a grudge the whole time.
I hold a grudge. And the one way I can let it go is if you're man enough to apologize to me in person, honestly. I'll let it go. I always let it go if you can apologize to me in person. Sean Bradley, my best example of reptile industry beef. Me and Sean got into it about 7-8 years ago over just dumb shit, just over a snake. And we're talking back and forth, and he got real nasty with it. And I took the mature route and went and told all my friends, and none of us talked to him for a year. And he rolls up to Daytona, apologizes to me, and we sit there and talked it out and was explaining his side of the story, why he felt the way he did, and then apologized for how he acted. And we're friends now. We still talk. We talk every now and then. But yeah, the way I approach beef in this industry is that I know I don't have to deal with these people. So I just don't, like breeders that I don't like because I don't like the way they do business. I don't like the way they deal with my friends or anything like that. I just don't have to deal with them. So I just never talk to them. I just avoid them. I'm like, I don't know what you would call it. I just leave it alone.
I
For
block
me
people.
personally, I don't go out on Instagram and start calling breeders out and start making cryptic videos about it and YouTube videos ranting about it. I just there's no good can come from it, so I just kind of leave it alone usually until they apologize.
I block people really fast. They don't even have to like wrong me in any way. I could just like not really like their Instagram handle. I'm like, ugh, I don't like how that sounds. Blocked. Steven said you could actually mute those people. You don't have to block them.
Yeah.
So my bad. Steven forgives people immediately. I forget why I'm mad at them. All I know is like I don't like that person. And then Steven, so they'll like reach out and be like, hey, I see that I'm blocked on your Instagram. And Steven be like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. And I'm like, hey, they were blocked. And Steven's like, why? I'm like, I don't remember.
There's a reason behind it.
But I'm sure it was something. That has happened more than once. Very embarrassing. But yeah, I kind of how you said you don't have to deal with these people. We do have a life outside of the snakes where, I'm okay if something happens and I don't have to talk to somebody again. So you're all on thin ice because I don't. I'm just kidding.
We have real friends. We have real life friends.
We don't.
I don't.
They're all
like
snake
have to
people
be
now.
Facebook friends with you, or you don't have to follow me on Instagram. You might not. You might absolutely hate who I am because of any number of reasons. And I have come to realize as an adult, I give a lot of reasons for people to not like me. It's okay. They absolutely hate that. What type of media I post or the jokes I post. Sometimes the jokes I post might be going too far in their mind or whatever, and that's okay. They're soft people and they deserve to not have friends.
Yeah. But when it comes to like beef that other people are having with each other, popcorn. I love it. I love it. Do it again. Let me talk about
Oh
it.
yeah,
This will be
I
great
love
for-
knowing about other people's beef that has nothing to do with me. That's the best kind of beef.
No, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Is gossip somebody else has.
For me, as Courtney said, I do not hold a grudge. I can
Annoyingly so.
I can get like annoyed and I can get like upset with somebody, but give me like, I don't know, till the next reptile show, and I'm like, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal anymore. It is what it is. And for me,
Who do you hate the most in the industry?
in the industry right now, I don't feel like there is anybody that I
Steve. Oh no. Okay.
don't know if I have one right now. Yeah.
Mm.
And so the other thing I would say on this, this goes a little bit further back, and I won't say names, and I'll explain why I won't say names on this one. So I think that in a lot of situations, if you have like a problem with somebody, I think that it's better, like for me, I would rather be like, hey, I didn't like the way that you did this thing, and
Being like a grown up about it.
resolve it. And I mean, this has happened, like, and it's like we have friends where I've been like, hey, I didn't appreciate how you like did this thing, and like, I am super sorry, I didn't mean it that way.
I'm
And-
having a heart attack that Steven confronted somebody.
and that said, if there are situations where it's like somebody that we're not really close with and they do something that we take offense to, because it has happened. There have been people who have said things to us where I'm like, I don't like you, I will never do business with you, and every single time that has ever happened, the person has not had nearly as big of a platform as we have had, and I don't mean that to be conceited, but it would feel bad to even talk about it with anybody.
That's right. That take right there is straight fire.
Like,
Thanks.
but it's just, I don't know. I feel like that it would be like bullying. Like,
Yeah.
you're not having a conflict and all that stuff if the other person doesn't have the same reach. So,
Yeah, so when you go on Instagram or YouTube or you guys using your platform, just go out there and talk shit about another breeder. It does no good, especially for you. It makes you look small and petty. The best thing you can do is show up to a show and then talk shit to them to their face, in my opinion. opinion, and I do it.
That's
I've
what
had
Justin
confrontation
does.
with another vendor before, and we don't get along. We absolutely dislike each other, and I just go and buy tables directly across from them, so I can talk shit the entire show. Yeah.
Justin pays us to be mean to me. Look at him right now,
Yeah.
right there.
No, what is it?
$4.99.
I've been trying to get. So Justin, super chat, by the way, for everybody who's just listening in, says I've been trying to get blocked for a hot minute, Courtney. Just saying.
Oh,
so
count yourself blocked.
I do think that when I get upset about something, even if it's like comments, again, I'm perfectly fine on saying this. I get my feelings hurt. Somebody can leave a mean comment, and it will make me pissed, and I'm like the whole day like sending novels back and then deleting it. And I just don't like conflict. Like when I'm involved with conflict and I am upset.
You love conflict.
I don't want.
You love replying to
Oh, I
people.
love to, but it's emotionally exhausting for me. So I just don't want to deal with it. So that's also part of the reason why I am like, I'm just gonna leave it as is.
Blocked.
You know
Comment
who
deleted.
loves confrontation is my wife.
Mary.
I know. Oh my God. Every time she tells this story, she's like, "So I told them," and I'm like, "Mary, no, you didn't."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got into it with another breeder. Mary calls this breeder's wife
Oh
yeah.
and tells her, "Hey, get your head out of your ass, and tell your husband to call my husband so they can talk and stop posting all this cryptic shit." And I'm like, okay, damn. And so I had
Be
to talk
nice
to
to
this
Bob.
other breeder, and yeah.
If Mary called me and was like, "Tell your husband to," I'd be like, "Oh yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry."
Yeah, she's like very confrontational.
Mary is probably one of my favorite people in the world for all of the adventures that you guys have told us about and that we've seen. Saving drowning children from the pool, the emu story, like it is.
Oh,
all
what
right.
if we did this? Okay,
Okay.
this would be the best at the Southeast Reptile Expo. Once we rent out the entire venue, so Japan Fest has like a bow and arrow demonstration, all this stuff. What if we took a room, matted the room, and then we do a USARC charity boxing MMA
Marry
event?
everyone else.
You can call anybody out in the industry for $500. And if they duck you, and if they want to not show up to the ring, if they want to duck you, they have to donate another $500 to dodge you.
I like it.
And you
I like
can
it.
call out anybody
I'm
in
gonna
the
have to
industry.
pay so much money. No.
Bob's
2
calling
minutes.
Courtney out. Justin's calling Courtney out. We go bankrupt. Like,
2 minutes,
Or I
2
just get
minutes
my
in the
ass beat.
octagon, and $500 we raise for the industry right there. But we can do like 50 G's in a night easily.
we're gonna have to. Antoine did the like fights.
That shit was lame.
No, I
all the
wasn't there. I
time.
wasn't there for it. So okay, Bob
Steven-
wants violence.
Yeah.
Violence. So
That shit was lame. Nah,
You should- you
Antoine.
gotta
It was
fight
terrible because Antoine is a trained MMA fighter. It's almost unfair for him to go in the cage literally with any of us. It has to be like two doofuses that doesn't find out that they're fighting until that day.
They can't train
I'm
for it.
calling you out, buddy. And then literally, at the end of Saturday, you have to get in the ring with this guy with zero training. It's just two drunk dudes swinging haymakers, and hopefully somebody gets knocked out.
Good. All right. So we right now are about an hour and 45 minutes into this. So I want to end this on one story that is my favorite story, if you're willing to tell it, and it was going to be the emu story. But I don't know if you're the best person to tell it because Mary is like.
Oh, she's so animated when she tells the story.
Well,
When I tell the story, it's from my perspective of this lifeless person.
I'll
And
pretend
me
I'm
not
married
wanting
to point
touch
out
it.
all the things you leave out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just tell this story really quick, like 2 minutes. So if you guys want to ask her about it, she can give you a 30-minute autopsy of this story. So I go to we go down to visit my parents. I'll make it quick. We'll go down and visit my parents, and we're supposed to go to the beach. And at 5:00, my dad's best friend's wife calls him and says, "Hey, I haven't seen her, she hasn't seen her husband in like a little bit, and she's starting to get worried. Can you come over and check on him?" And he's out there checking on the emus that we gave him. I hatched these emus and gave it to them as a gift. So I ride over there with my dad. We roll up. This guy's all the way in the back of the house, like behind the house, checking on the animals. And he is no longer alive. And I rolled up, and my dad is so strange. It's my dad's best friend. And I looked at him and I said, "Are you okay?" And he goes, yeah, I'll go tell his wife. He goes, but what are we gonna do with these emus? And I was like, good question. And it just seemed like he wasn't very emotional about it. Again, my dad's not an emotional guy. And so he goes, tells him, I call the cops. I call the ambulance and say, hey, we need somebody out here. Then I call Mary and said, hey, there's a dead guy. And Mary goes, hey, you need to perform CPR. And I was like, the hell I do. And
I was like, I will not be.
and I
doing
said,
that.
it's not in my civic duty to do that because I am not a trained professional. Okay, so I'm on the phone with the operator 911 operator, and she says, "Hey, you have to perform CPR." And I said, "Yeah, my wife already mentioned that. I'm not doing it." And she was like, "No, you have to." And I was like, "No, like, can you guys arrest me for this?" No, he can't. Then no. Plus, he's dead. And she said, he might just look dead. He might not be dead. And I was like, you are not here in person. You do not know. Luckily for me, literally, as she's yelling at me to do CPR, as soon as I got close to him, Mary shows up with my brother and starts performing CPR. While she's performing CPR, I'm trying to let ambulance in. So ambulance pulls up, and these guys are coming out. And one of the guys was like, hey, we'll take over, blah, 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 blah. And Mary's like giving, the rundown. These emus are hovering over us. Like, just like, hey, what's going on? And the ambulance guy was like, can we do something about these emus? Like, what the hell is happening? And these are, you're talking about emus, a 4.5 foot bird, just sprinting around everywhere. And the cops get there, and they're trying us to get these emus. So I tell my dad, hey, like, can we round up these emus? And my dad makes like a bird noise, like a burrowing, almost like a I don't know, it's like a very deep voice sound. And these emus just follow him into this pen, and then he just puts them up. And the cop was like, oh, are you his brother? And I was like, well, this guy's Indian and my dad's not. But yeah. And so we put these emus up, and the guy also had a life-size statue of a Komodo dragon in front of his house. And so I go up and ask my dad to see if we can get the life-size statue home. Apparently, not a good time. But yeah, that's the emu story. But yeah, Mary was trying to resuscitate this Indian dude, my dad's best friend, and the emus were attacking us while we were doing that.
So the funniest part about that story is Bob has told us that story where he mentions like his dad's friend passes away, and that the emus were there when the ambulance was there, but all he wanted was the Komodo dragon statue, and maybe he could fit it in the truck, but like, I don't know, Dad, can you help me? He's told us that story, and then they told the story again with Mary there, and she's like, I was there. I was doing chest compression. And I was like,
they're arguing about the Komodo dragon statue, and Mary's like, and she's like, somebody help me. And she's like, Bob, not right now. And it's an emu behind her.
Bob's like, here,
yeah, and it was dark, so it was my fault. Like, it was getting dark, and no one was holding a flashlight over there because I was checking out this Komodo dragon. It's a life-size.
He's like, Mary, will you hold this flashlight?
Komodo
She's giving
dragon.
chest compression.
Yeah, and I was just like, how do we get this on the truck? And it's super heavy. Are the cops gonna help me? Like,
yeah.
And then the cops start asking me questions like, where were you at today? And I'm like, bro, am I a suspect? Like, the fuck? Like, they started asking me all kinds of weird questions. I was like, bro, I'm leaving. Like,
yeah. But no, it was maybe a little bit of a downer of a subject, but it was the funniest thing. Again, if you guys are at the Southeast Reptile Expo and you want to take up 30 minutes of Bob and Mary's time while they're very busy doing everything else, demand the entire story.
The
like,
very
right
depressing story that involves a family friend's death.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes. Do that in front of my dad. I think he's gonna be there.
Good.
Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, the guy did not make it, for those of you. It was not one of those happy stories where the guy got up and said, yes, you can have my Komodo dragon. That did not happen. So.
Darn it.
All right. Thank you so much, Bob. If you want to hang out around just a little bit longer, but we're going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats, for showing up to the live, especially because it was kind of spontaneous and we don't have something.
And it was 2 hours long. So
it was 2 hours long. You guys killed it. We can't wait for the Southeast Reptile Expo, and we will see you guys all there.